welcome to Sunday morning coffee with KetoSimple. My name is Dustin. I'm so glad you're here. This stream will be starting soon, so grab your coffee, get comfortable, and settle in. We're building a strong and supportive community, so say hello in the chat, ask questions, and feel free to use super chats if there's anything that you want to see highlighted. Thank you for being here and being a part of this journey. Let's keep it positive and respectful as we connect and grow together. I can't wait to get started. Good morning, everybody. It's June 1st, and we're kicking off a fresh start with BBB&E. Today is June 1st. We're starting BBB&E. I'm doing it. Chandra's doing it. She's at work. I'm here with you. It's going to be a good time. Oh, my goodness. How are all of y'all doing today? I hope you guys are doing good. Having issues here with things not wanting to do what I want them to do. I don't know what's going on. You guys can see me. You guys can hear me. I hope so. Let's jump into some of the comments, see who all's here this morning. Got a new mouse. Had to. The other one just kind of stopped working. So, good morning, everybody. Evil Lynn is here from an hour ago. She says, good morning, friends. I hope she's back here. I hope she has her coffee. I hope that she is doing wonderful. Her wonderful kids. And Carl, John Guggenhand says, good morning to my Sunday family. I have such gratitude for being able to have and participate in this Sunday morning coffee chat. I thank each and every one of you for being here. I thank you for being here, Mr. Guggenhand. Truly appreciate you so very much. And he's also saying that he finished up an experiment with the sugar diet, and I'm glad I tried. I lost 7 pounds, and I had a lot of energy, but I did feel jittery all the time. The biggest plus for me was the 0 cravings for alcohol. He also goes on to say that it gave me a good foundation for putting some time between now and my last drink. I now feel confident that I can make the right choice one day at a time. That's all that we can hope for, is one day at a time. But thank you. Thank you, John. I'm glad you're here and you're sharing your experiences with us, and I'm glad you're sharing your journey with us. And Mr. Brian Dish is in the house. Good morning, everyone. Remember, you are what you eat. Eat meat, mostly. I would agree with that. I can get behind that. And John also goes on to say that I saw this morning that Wendy and Harry are trying the sugar diet protocol. It's pretty interesting, for sure. And Brian is saying, John, good to hear you have gotten rid of the addiction of to alcohol, the stupid sugar diet. I don't think the addiction's ever going to go away. Just like, I still battle with food addiction. I think that these things never quite go away. They just become more manageable over time, but they're always kind of lingering back there. John goes on to say, if you are what you say you are, if I could read, if you are what you say you are, what you eat, I must be very sweet after the way I ate for the last 2 weeks. Yeah. And I have a pin. I have this pinned up here. So Trent is my friend's brother. My friend Laura and I have been friends for over 25 years. She has been battling cancer herself the past 3 years, and has come away victorious for the most part. So her brother is now battling cancer, but not faring as well as her. So in lieu of any super chats today, any donations you wanted to make to this channel, please do so at Trent's GoFundMe. That's just one of those things I would like to see. They really could use this. So um, let me know if that's not working. And Evelyn says, "Good morning, Dustin, John, Brian. I'm glad Evelyn is here. And my good friend Stacy, good Sunday morning to all. Have no TV internet connection this morning. Ugh. Ugh, that's no fun." Sean Bradley is in the house. Good morning, Mr. Bradley. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Let's see. Jeffa is in the house. Good morning, Mr. Foltz. I hope you're doing wonderful, my friend. Andy is in the house. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to me, she says. She even mentioned me by name in my own chat. How awesome is that? It rhymed. I didn't even mean it to. But anyway, with that, I'm going to have some coffee. I haven't had any yet today. I always hold off and have my first sip of coffee with my wonderful friends here, you guys. Mm, so good. A lot to talk about today. A lot of things to talk about today. Trying to get this camera good. I don't know what's going on with this camera. It's just not doing what I want it to do. There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. So, a lot of things that I want to talk about today. Outside of the commitment that we have to Triple B&E, um, really one thing that I want to talk about Triple B&E and the reason why it's important to me personally, and why I think, well, I was kind of on the fence about doing it because I know that this month is a very busy month with birthdays. My birthday, Shanda's birthday, our daughter's birthday. Everybody wants to go out to dinner. Everybody wants something special, whether it's some sweet treats or whatever it is, whatever, some kind of special meal or whatever. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to power through that and do what we need to do and maintain Triple B&E with those birthdays involved. So, um, but what I like about Triple B&E, what I think is so important about Triple B&E protocol from me that I've found for myself is the fact that it truly does help me get back to a place where satiety is number one, because satiation is one of those things that gets truly overlooked, I believe, when we're talking about anything in the dieting community, even in our community as a whole, just the satiation aspect. And I think that's something that gets overlooked in the mainstream, is just how we look at satiety, and we argue about processed foods. We argue about all the things in the middle of the aisles at the grocery store, and we argue are there any beneficial processed foods? And I would have to say that if there's anything out there that promotes satiety, I think that is something that could be beneficial. If you can eat something and it doesn't leave you wanting more, 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 more. Yes, the other day, I'm trying trying to find better ways to explain it to people, because I can eat a pound or two of meat, some eggs, some bacon, and I am good, full, without being overstuffed. Satiety signaling works. There may be food left over on my bowl, my plate, whatever, and I can just push it away and go on and do my thing, go about my day and live my life, and not be focused and, concerned about food for the rest of the day. Or the adverse is I could eat a large pizza with breadsticks and all the things that come along with pizza, maybe some dessert afterwards. I could eat an entire large pizza and still be hungry, but stuffed. Like, the only reason I stop eating the pizza is because I literally run out of room for pizza. So I think that's what we have to look at. We have to really start focusing on a food. If it's right for you, does that food benefit you? And how would I gauge, does that food benefit you? But how it benefits me, does that food promote satiety or no? So if you eat something and it doesn't promote satiety, then it's not a right food for you, I would say, because that's how I would look at it. Now, I mean, everybody's going to be a little bit different in what and how their satiety signaling works. I saw a short video the other day, even commented on it, but I didn't get any response. Maybe they deleted my comment, I don't know, but It was a person talking about being in a caloric deficit, and she was a very foul mouthed person. And I understand because I can be a potty mouth when I'm not here, when I'm not with you, when I'm not online. But the way I look at it is if I'm trying to promote something and I want to bring as many people along with me for the ride as I can, I'm going to come to you all in a manner in which encompasses everybody. And I understand you're trying to make a point. You're trying to, you are trying to get the clicks, the views, and all that. I understand. But like, if you're demeaning people and in your videos and such and talking about sugar and how sugar shouldn't impact you, the sugar, because she was basically talking about fruit. She said a pound of fruit or a pound of watermelon is 150 calories and a pound of strawberries is 150 calories. So in essence, you can sit there and eat 2 pounds of fruit because she's like, basically the bulking of it is you're eating all this food and these nutrients and you're only spending 300 calories. But at the same time, you have to realize that that's what, 95% water? The other 5%, maybe 4% sugar, and then 1% fiber. So I mean, you're not getting any protein. You're barely getting any real nutrition out of it. Yeah, you're getting sugar, you're getting fructose, but that's not nutrition. But how does that impact satiety? For someone like me eating that 2 pounds, I'm going to be hungry again very soon. So that 300 calories does me no good. I could eat 300 calories of fruit and then another 300 calories of fruit and another 300 calories of fruit, another 300 calories of fruit. That right there is 1,200 calories. But if I were to eat 1,200 calories of meat and eggs, I would be okay for the entire day. So I just don't understand like the idea that you're pushing and pushing and pushing the low calorie bulking. As I understand, when I first started doing keto as a person who is vastly food addicted, you think, how can I eat as much food as I can and keep my carbs as low as possible? Well, you do that by eating meat and I ate a lot of hard boiled eggs because it's really hard to eat lots and lots of hard boiled eggs unless and I know that you can say cut them in half and make them into deviled eggs and you could eat like 2 dozen eggs, but I'm not a deviled egg person. But that's how I look at it. Like, I would bring bacon and cheese and lunch meat. I would just pack my lunch the best way I could because I was looking for how much food could I eat to keep my carbs as low as I possibly could. And obviously, in the very beginning, what my, I mean, lowering my carbs to 100 grams of carbs a day was going to be extremely beneficial to me, even if I got it, 50, 75, 25, whatever the case was, total carbs, because I was probably eating 1,000 grams of carbs a day. So lowering carbs significantly is a huge benefactor or a benefit to me. But, I just kind of think about how it all ties back into triple B&E because it's really just a reset for satiety for me to kind of cut out the food noise. When I'm doing a triple B&E challenge, I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat. And I probably shouldn't worry about that anyway, but we do. We are humans and we are social and all these things do come into play. So, um yeah. But I just want to discuss that, like the reason for restarting and the goals. I'm going to try to do this for June, July, and August. And probably I'd like to keep it 95% of my protocol for the rest of my life, but I'm realistic and I'm just gonna, kind of like as an alcoholic would day one day at a time, right? So, I have aspirations of doing it for 3 months, but and I know that that'll shift because like basically I've been stocking up. I've got frozen burger patties, those are my favorite. I've got the Philly steak meat to make. And I can just mix eggs with those and just basically eggs on top, and I'll use bacon as a lever. So, but basically beef, butter, and eggs is primary. Bacon is kind of is kind of like to mix things up because it's a different on the palate. So hopefully we'll be good with that. So Rebecca is here. Good morning, Rebecca. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. Andy has lost her mind, and she says that she hasn't had coffee in a week doing the yerba mate drink. That sounds awful. I don't envy you at all. I am not jealous. Hopefully, you come to your senses and get back to coffee. I'm joking, but for real. Sean said we just got back from Vegas yesterday. It was nice to visit Shell's parents. Now I have to get ready to start my new job tomorrow. Fantastic. And I hope you enjoyed Vegas. Andy says June means I won't have dairy. The cruise will be modified dairy. Some very good food options during the 13-day vacation. Yeah. Mr. Rick is in the house. Good morning, Rick. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Evelyn here with the assist. She says, "Please tell us if you're planning to do triple B&E and what are your challenges and wins for the week." Yes, 1000%. Thank you, Evelyn. Evelyn. Stacy says to welcome back to Shell and Sean that to get back to work, retirement was long enough. Oh, I guess I can do things here. Okay. I can put people in timeout. I can block people. Warning, can't ban a chat owner or moderator. Okay. All right. Learning new things as we go. Learning new things as we go. Thomas said, Dustin, I thought I would drop by. Just finished work today. Well, fantastic, Mr. Thomas. I'm glad to see you, my friend. I hope everything is going well with you. Oh, Cindy DeManchi is in the house. Good morning, Cindy DeManchi. Hmm. I love it that Cindy is here. Thank you for joining us, Miss DeManch. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Danny is in the house. My good friend Danny is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. At State Line Restaurant on US 50, heading to church with my grandma in Indiana. Back home again in Indiana. Indiana's a pretty cool place. I live there. It's pretty good. I like it. John is telling us about his crazy cups, his fancy crazy cups bananas Foster coffee this morning with some hazelnut pod creamer. Sounds like you'll have a good time, buddy. Rick with his shenanigans talking about things that only he would say. It's like I'll take weird stuff that only Rick would say for 300, Alex. Sweet is nasty, never a treat. Okay. You're so goofy. Only things that Rick would say. Because if this was true, Rick, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't have a need for this community. If this was true. Oh my goodness. Evelyn is saying, hit the thumbs up. I'm guessing that's what she's saying. Bride's Biscuit is in the house. Good morning, fam. Good morning, Bride's Biscuit. And he said, Susan is awake, but she just laid down her phone and snuggled up I asked her if Dustin is lulling her back to sleep. She said yes. Well, good morning, Susan. I am glad that you are awake for the time being. Snuggle up, get toasty, drift off back to sleep. That's fine. It's a Sunday. It's all good. Don't worry, Booby Goats is here. Good morning, Aaron. Thank you for joining us, my dear. And he said, I grab a handful of mixed nuts 3 separate times before my brain finally says, enough, no more nuts. Very true. No more nuts. Bride's Biscuit says, Paul Newman says it's not hard to eat a ton of hard boiled eggs. It is if they're like extra like hard boiled, if they're dry and you're choking them down, because like you can choke a hard boiled egg down. That's why I always like the soft boiled eggs, like the 6 minute eggs, if you will. You can just eat them so much faster. I might make some of those today and see how I feel about it. See how I feel about it. Cindy DeManchi says, hello. Rick is talking about a video that he saw where Robert Sivas thinks that we should eat some carbohydrates for long-term health. I would say that there is probably something to some of us having carbohydrates. I know that when we're talking about women and their cycles and such, there's times where carbohydrates help them out with hormones. Because you got to remember, as simple creatures as we may be, we're still complex chemically. And I would say that being primarily carnivore is probably fine. But as humans, we have to remember, what do we do? In 2016, keto was becoming all the rage. So keto's great. Well, if keto is great, then carnivore's got to be better. And if carnivore is better, that means that lion diet's got to be the best. Going harder doesn't necessarily make it better. Now, would I say incorporating carbohydrates back into someone's diet be Cheerios and frosted mini wheats and stuff? No. But we as humans, over the centuries, the many, many centuries, have adapted to more than just meat. Having some broccoli, maybe some Brussels sprouts. I don't know, maybe some chocolate every once in a while. Cake on your birthday. I don't think it's a zero-sum game. I don't think that it's all or nothing. It shouldn't just be carnivore or vegan. Those are your two choices. Either you're carnivore or you're vegan. That's it. Nothing else. I think that we have to be realistic. And for 99.9999% of the population, realistic isn't strict 100% carnivore. Never is it going to be that. Rick, you are an outlier, and even you will have things that aren't, you have cheese and stuff from time to time or whatever. You may not necessarily be into carbohydrates and such, but you have to remember you are an outlier. You are an exception, not the rule. And you have to think that we are looking to benefit the masses here. And how do we benefit the masses? Not with strict carnivore. I don't think 99.99% of the human population is going to go strict carnivore. I don't think they're going to go strict keto. I don't even think they're going to go dirty keto. It's going to be a modified proper, it's going to be hopefully like maybe at least a modified proper human diet where it's, 80 to 90% whole foods. But I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. Because I don't think, in 1800, they thought that in 2025, we are going to be eating all the stuff that we're eating now. But there's been so much stuff in history that I've been reading about. Like like up to 1981, all of or most of the food served to kids in school lunches was all food that was purchased by the government to keep agriculture afloat. So they were subsidizing agriculture by buying excess food, storing it, and then serving it to school kids. Now, as the 80s rolled around, they had to backtrack some of that because they were feeding them a lot of beef, a lot of saturated fats, and we know how those are so bad for us, right? And we'll have to backtrack that again as well. So it's just going to be one of those things. I think we're who knows what it's going to look like, but I can guarantee you, with almost a it's not 0% chance, but it's about as close to zero as you're going to get, that the average human being is not going to be carnivore. The best we can hope for is whole food. What does that mean? Potatoes, sweet potatoes, green beans, beef, lamb, all the things, but whole foods. I think that's more realistic than straight carnivore. And that may be an unpopular stance, but unpopular as it may be, I think it's going to be the reality. And we have to be realistic when we're looking at this, and when we're trying to help our friends and family and we're trying to get people healthy, we have to understand that you can't force anybody to do anything. I was at a party last night. I went to my friend's birthday party, and there was a couple of different people there for different things they were talking about, all on medications, because all my friends groups are all in their mid 30s, 40s. I'm one of the oldest people in my friends group at 45, and one is on Ozempic. The others are on this medication, that medication. This one's, we have one that's trying to. She's like, "I would love to lose weight." I was like, I've got the plan." You know what I mean? Like, she was like, "You're just gonna have me eat too much meat, and I don't like that much meat." And I'm like, "Well, beef is the most nutritious food there is." And how do you do this without like necessarily counting calories and worrying about food and reintroducing satiety into your life? And you can't force people. You just gonna have to plant those seeds, talk about it with them, have the conversations, and just let it marinate, and maybe they'll come back. Because I was talking to my friend who's on Ozempic, and she's like, "Well, they're telling me I gotta, eat like, at least 80 to 100 grams of protein a day." And I'm like, really should be like 100 minimum, and then you're adding Ozempic on top. You gotta probably double that to counteract the Ozempic. If you're gonna stay on Ozempic, you have to counteract the issues with, counteract the issues that you're, the protein aspect that's tearing apart your protein, and it's whatever. It's just, you just got to plant these seeds with your friends and your family, and hopefully they kind of come around, but they may not. Yeah, Cindy says she's prepped and ready for triple B&E. I saw she had boiled a bunch of eggs. You know, don't forget about meat thins with steakums. I've never done that. Can you just take the frozen steakums and just put that into a dehydrator? Because that's not that expensive. I mean, it's not cheap either for what it'll turn into. I'm just curious. It's awful fatty. Fatty. Andy says, anyone know what they are doing 35 years ago? I do. I married my children's father that day, and I was so excited and happy. Don't regret the wedding day or the kids, but 13 years with him crazy. Well, I'm glad you're here with us today, and that's what matters. Uncle Big Guy is in the house. Good morning, my friend. I hope you're doing wonderful on your way to a family reunion. Well, don't pick up any dates, okay, bud? I'm just kidding. But no, but for real. I appreciate you being here. Aaron says, just put butter and bacon grease in my coffee. Day one, triple B and E. I got I'm still doing cream in my coffee, but I've been putting butter in my coffee for a while, so I'm getting plenty of butter. Oh my goodness. Andy is telling somebody a good video last night. Yeah, that's right, Rick. I mean, the things you say are true for you, but I think we get caught up and I think that's kind of where we are with our communities is everybody kind of comes in with what's true for them and they want to blanket across to everybody else. And we've got to remember that there's a big, huge world out there, and it's going to take a lot. It's going to take every single one of us plus some to make this world a better place, a healthier place. And we got to throw dogma out the window because we've got to remember that, like, while we know that keto and carnivore and all that are going to be huge, can be huge and instrumental in regaining people's health, there's going to be people who don't want to hear it. How do we make them healthy? How do we help them by hopefully promoting real food, be it rice, potatoes, whatever. Hopefully, real meat, real fatty meat, reintroducing fatty animal products and not seed oils and all that stuff. You know, Rick hates coffee. Well, you're in good company with Cindy, I suppose. Yvonne is in the house. Good morning from Texas. Y'all up way too early. Every week, 7:30 Eastern AM. I should have gone later, but no, here I am, 7:30, because I get up at 6 and I was just sitting around the house drinking my coffee, watching YouTube, and I decided, you know what, let me go live at like 7:30 in the morning and see what happens. And that was well over like a year and a half ago. So here we are. Now I'm stuck with you guys. So thank you for being here, Yvonne. I appreciate it. Rick says over 30 minutes until I have to switch to Mitch. Mitch. Rick said fried eggs taste best. I like fried eggs. I like fried eggs, but I have to mix it up some because sometimes I like that super duper wet scrambled eggs, and you know, Yvonne knows what's up. I can eat a ton of deviled eggs, but hard boiled by itself, I'm done after three. That's like I like. So I had like some MCT, like liquid coconut oil at my desk back when I started doing this thing, and I would bite into the egg and I'd pour some of that on there, just to have like just having some kind of fat to go along with it that isn't solidified. There's like you can put butter on it, but butter kind of gets that filmy kind of. You're trying to eat it and it's cold, you know. So, or if you could have melted butter and just dip your eggs in melted butter, it's a lot better too. Thomas says maybe someday, but still have to bring my A1C down and carnivore as my best option. Maybe once I accomplish my why, who knows? Well, yeah, I mean, I think we have to do what's best for us individually. And I think a lot of us individually will find out what works best for us. But at the same time, we have to also remember and look at what is big for us as a whole. So, I mean, there's that. Rick says, you know how I criticize the proper human diet dogma, eating fresh, picked produce might be a good addition for most people. That's the thing. I think we got to look and like we got to look at how do we help the most people? Because if we only focus on our community here, like right now I'm preaching to the choir. But how do we promote healthy living to the masses? As nice as it would be, keto and carnivore, that's not going to be those things. We'll up the percentages and there'll be more and more of us, but the average person isn't going to want to do that. So we have to hopefully instill the best options we can, have them eating more fresh produce, all the things. We have to remember too that like there's a lot of weird stuff going on with prime grazing land being purchased up and stuff and not being allowed to graze animals on it. So we'll have to figure out what happens with our meat production over the next 25 years or so. We'll have to see. I mean, the next 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, we have to kind of see what's going to happen because meat keeps getting more and more expensive. Everything gets more and more expensive. So we just have to kind of figure out what does that look like. I don't think right now being fully, having 8 billion people on this planet being fully carnivore is sustainable or even possible with the current infrastructure we have. So we have to look at, well, how do we get there? I don't think we will. I just don't think humans are going to go for it. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully we get to a point where we are doing whole food over processed, shelf stable. But with 8 billion people, I don't even know how we get away fully from shelf stable foods. Do we find ways to incorporate shelf stability into whole foods? How do we make whole foods stable? We've done it years and years and years with canning, water glassing, all these things, eggs and such. We just have to figure out how to do it, how to make it sustainable for everybody. Erin likes steak on her birthday. I do too. Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, how does that look, Rick? So Rick says once you reset your metabolism, people can eat things other than meat. I think once you find health, but also what I think and what I find is kind of be the true test of all of this is once you find health, once you find satiety, and then you go back into trying to reintroduce particular foods, how do those make you feel? Because if I'm eating whole foods, I'm a lot like if I eat rice, it doesn't impact me. I mean, I don't get sore joints and stuff like I would if I was having like pasta. Now, I don't know how that would be if I was having like heritage original kind of like real pasta from like Italy instead of how they grow it and make it here in the States where it's all bleached and all that stuff. I don't know. How would I feel eating that stuff? I just don't know. Rick says that he eats yogurt daily, cheese from time to time. I grow and give away fruits and veggies. Yeah. Aaron was asked by Thomas if she had a steak on her birthday. She said, I had a dinosaur rib. Very nice. Very nice. Just like Fred Flintstone. Well, I mean, mostly now you're right, Rick. School lunches are duck food. That's why we do pack our granddaughter's lunches. She wants to get a lunch with people because she wants to stand in line with her friends and she wants to do things. She's not looking at it from a nutritional aspect. She's looking at it as a social aspect. So I kind of wonder, like, how do we make school lunches healthy again? So I remember being a kid, I mean, we would never have like just beef. We'd have like chicken nuggets or a hot dog. Trying to remember the kind of meats we would have. I would have it be like hot dog, hamburger, pizza, which is a meat, but it had meat on it, but not very much. And I remember there was always like a vegetable, a fruit, a starch, and milk. Never enough milk. Aaron says, I don't need carbs during my cycles. I feel better without carbs and my cycles are less intense. Yeah, and I understand that there's differences because I know some women do need to cycle their food or cycle in carbohydrates during their cycles, or at least maybe the beginning of the cycle to help mitigate some of that stuff. So I don't know, and I think obviously everybody's going to be a little bit different. But yeah, so I'm glad that you're open and honest about that and kind of filling us in because, like I said, I can only go by what people tell me because I'm not a lady. So last I checked, anyway. Thomas is saying that, "Oh my gosh, I want that for my birthday. Did you have Rocky dress up like Baby Pebbles?" All we have is the Bam Bam outfit. I don't know, that's a little, little kinky. I don't know what's happening here. Let's see. And the wig, bam, bam, bam. Rick says, "I know one 56-year-old who has never been on a medication." That sounds like you. Aaron says, "My mom's not on any medication, and her doctor always shakes his head in disbelief." She's 67. And Rick said he had a subscriber email him once telling him that he was a hypocrite because I garden and give away fruits and veggies. I mean, Chandra's parents send us boxes, a giant box of mangoes every year. I think they're sitting on our kitchen table right now. I think we got it just this week. I've never actually had a fresh mango before, so they're not ripe just yet. They just kind of pick them before they're just ripe, and then they mail them to us. I don't know if they're any good or not. I don't know if they're good mangoes. I know they live way, way down. They live not far from where you are, Rick. Yeah, and Sean is asking, he said, "That's incredible, Aaron. Is your mom a carnivore as well?" Becky is here. Good morning, Becky. Let's see. Aaron says that her mom is low carb and she's been low carb for her entire life. Oh, that's fascinating. I'd like to know more about that. That's pretty fascinating stuff. Yeah, Thomas says I get the double box, like I get the family size box, and I'll make that up because I mean, yeah, it's like 22 ounces of meat, but by the time you cook it down the water and the fat and such, it's much, much less. But yeah, I think I'll have that for lunch today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, okay. So she was talking to Cindy. Okay. All right. And Cindy's saying that she's 67 and she's only on a medication for a diuretic to help control the swelling of lymphedema. That's fascinating. That's pretty awesome. And Thomas says he uses a shake. I use a shake plate for my lymphedema whenever it acts up. Yeah, Cindy says, "See, Dustin, I'm not alone, but you are not in a big company. There's not a lot. There's more people who like coffee than don't." Malia is here. Well, welcome, welcome, Malia. Thank you for being here. And she says hello to her mother as well. Let's see. Cindy says she has one as well as a rebounder. Rick is saying that coffee reminds him of the principal's office. I can imagine you were there quite often, I would say. I would probably not go too far off from that. Yvonne says, "I didn't start drinking coffee until my 30s. Switched to decaf 2 years ago, gave up totally 1 year ago, and I'm not missing it. I like the smell of fresh ground beans, though." I really didn't take on drinking coffee like a sport until I quit smoking cigarettes 15 years ago. I would drink coffee or tea. You get like we spend a lot of time at Denny's, so we drink tea, coffee, whatever. Uh, but when I would drink coffee back then, I was also smoking cigarettes, and then when I gave up cigarettes, I needed something to fill my time. So I've talked about this a bunch. But then I picked up coffee, and I've been drinking coffee basically every day since. I have gone about a year without coffee, and what I noticed was that my life was not as good as when I have coffee. So I continue to have coffee. I like coffee. It makes my life good. I've given up just about everything else. So coffee is going to be the way. Aaron says super buttery scrambled eggs. I love super buttery scrambled eggs. I like them where they're just like super soft and like kind of like not fully cooked. I love that. Booby Aaron says that she uses a vibration plate. Naomi Jones is here. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you so very much. Andy says she's only on two medications, no high blood pressure, and she refuses to take a statin. I would say that refusing to take a statin is probably a good plan. Because even if it was a concern, I don't think statins really do a whole lot unless you're in like a very, very slim demographic. Even then, it's probably still not going to do that much for you. And she says her cholesterol is hovering around 230, 240 on carnivore. That's pretty neat. Aaron says, I fried mine in butter, bacon grease might be better. I like, I, sometimes I like bacon grease. I grew up cooking my eggs in bacon grease when I was a kid. I like butter more now. Yeah, I like butter. I have a lot of bacon grease though. Brian Doyle is in the house, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're doing well. Target says I'm ready for Mitch. Aaron, I am wearing my Mitch Fit t-shirt. And he said her A1C went from 5.6 to 5.4. Aaron says, I wondered if he noticed I wore my Mitch Fit shirt every time I do interviews. Uncle Big Guy says, came across a video. The scrambled eggs are made with egg whites scrambled, and then the yolks are added with no heat. Oh, that sounds good too. I'd like that. I just want my egg yolks warm, and then but I still want them runny. Runny egg yolks are the best yolks to me. Thomas said that is good. 5.4 is my goal. I am confident I will get there soon. Yeah, just keep it up. And Rick says I can eat select local fruits and pasta makes me sick. I hate rice. Well, because your gut biome is not set up for rice. Because you haven't really eaten it on a normal basis your whole life, of course it's going to cause you to have some digestive distress. Your gut biome, that's a completely foreign thing to your gut biome. Think what happens to people who are like vegan and they try to eat beef. It just totally destroys they're just having all kinds of problems. Your gut biome kind of starts to figure out what's going on and gets used to things, and you introduce something completely different like rice and a carnivore or meat to a vegan, and then of course there's going to be disastrous kind of occurrences happening. Of course. Sean says my total cholesterol was 359 last time while doing triple B&E. The doctor just about pooed a cat. She was like, "You need a statin now." No. See, I understand Rick. She goes, I was like, Rick's like, potatoes destroy me. Again, your gut biome isn't prepared for those type of foods. But you would eat plantains instead. That's fine. But I think potatoes are really good. Potatoes are fantastic. If you cut them thin and fry them in beef tallow, they're even better. But I miss my grandmother's. Like my grandmother used to make pressure cooked potatoes. Oh, they were so good. Yeah, Rick says that he thought school should have veggie gardens again. Yeah, but again, they don't want us being self-sufficient. You know, whether you I mean, like, and I get it, because I don't want a garden. I don't wanna go out and do all that stuff. I don't wanna have anything to do with it, you know? Aaron is out of here. Have a good one, Aaron. Thank you for joining us, dear. Yeah, the fact that Rick doesn't have an iguana catching school is beyond me. John Guggenheim is off to church. Have a great day. Oh, it's pronounced Malia. Okay. All right. I will try and remember that. Thank you, Cindy. Malia. Amy is in the house. Good morning. Sorry I'm late. So tired from traveling. Yes, well, I'm glad you made it home safe. I'm glad you had a wonderful time. Welcome back, my dear. Thank you for being here. All not so bright eyed and probably not bushy tailed at all. We are all glad you are home safe. Karen is in the house. Karen Harrington says, "Good morning, Dustin and community." Thank you for being here, Karen. I appreciate you so very much. Thomas, take care. See you later. Amy says, "I don't even know what day it is." Sonny's in the house. Welcome here. Welcome, Sonny. Welcome, welcome. Bride's Biscuit says, "To me, Dr. Chafee doesn't appear to fully understand how many people coffee is a net positive for, let alone the caffeine addiction part. I don't believe coffee is a major player in our health struggles." I would say that coffee probably is kind of just one of those things, but it probably also depends on how much coffee you drink. Mm. And how sensitive you are to caffeine. Brian is asking, has anyone tried the Angus beef steakums? I don't think I've seen them. I just buy the regular old package I find at Walmart because it's like $10 for the double package. And I'm like, okay, sold. It gives me something that's not beef patties. So, just trying to do what I can to do this and save as much money as I can. Andy agrees with me about runny egg yolks are her favorite. Soft boiled eggs were my favorite breakfast growing up. Yeah, Rick says my ex-vegan friend did suffer when trying carnivore. Yeah, you gotta figure, like, doing carnivore, even coming from a standard American diet, there's a lot going on. Amy says, I cheated once on vacation. On Friday night, I ate gluten-free dessert. It was amazing. I'm pretty sure it wasn't sugar-free. I imagine it probably wasn't. Unless it said gluten-free, sugar-free, it probably was not sugar-free. And Amy says every time I saw an iguana in Florida, I thought of Rick. I don't know what you're laughing at me for, but okay. Bride's Biscuit says I wouldn't be surprised if the sugar diet explosion is an industry response to the mass awakening of type 2. That type 2 diabetes is reversible. We are affecting their bottom line with our move backwards or move towards health. I don't know how orchestrated it is, but I mean, it probably wouldn't surprise me that there would be like some industry plant along the way, making some social media kind of things on TikTok because TikTok moves trends. And I think that trend started on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken. Then some other people picked it up for YouTube. And then we've been talking about it like every day. So I mean, really, it just kind of spreads. And people are going to be curious. So what you're saying is, I can eat all this sugar. Okay, I'm in. And Jeff says some people throw the whole egg in the skillet, stir it up with the whites, and don't incorporate the yolks until the end. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Guinea pig is in the house. Good morning, Brian. Amy said my big hair got searched at the Punta Gorda airport yesterday. That's a first. Shander, I think we were coming back. I think we were coming back from Vegas one time, and they were like digging in her hair because she had a bunch of bobby pins holding her hair up. So they were like trying to dig, and they had hair clips, and she was like, "Ow!" You know, I'm like, just cut it out. Mitch made a good coffee about why he drinks coffee. I drink coffee because I like it. I enjoy it, and it fits into my lifestyle, and I feel better with it than I do without it. Uh, Amy said, I've been stocking up on ribeye roast for ribeyes at the holiday. I highly recommend deep freezer to everyone in the community. We have three freezers. We have the freezer attached to our fridge in the kitchen, and then two freezers in the garage, and they're all full. Yes, Rick, you are the iguana man. And Sean says, if I drink more than a 16-ounce cup of coffee, I better be near a bathroom. I know, TMI. And there's no such thing as TMI here, Sean. No such thing as TMI. And he says, we got two plus in the kitchen. No, but they always go under my gut. They're always like, what do you think I have under there? They're always like reaching up under my gut. I'm like, come on now. What do you want from me? And I haven't flown in a while. I haven't flown since 2022, maybe. I don't know. It's been a while since we went to I haven't flown since we went to Colorado. So I think it was like 2022. But yeah. Amy says, I have a deep freezer in our kitchen freezer, another full size fridge freezer in the garage, plus two more mini fridges for drinks for parties. That's pretty nice. I want a mini fridge. I want one of those like one of those beverage fridges for our bedroom. One that holds like you could put like a full standing bottles of water in and 16-ounce, like the 16-ounce cans, and just stock it full and have it always have cold water ready to go in our room. But we gotta find it. We have to find one of those on like Facebook Marketplace or something, see what happens. See how that goes. And again, I just want to go ahead and share, and I want to talk about my friend Laura again. Like I drove her to her chemo or her like I don't know if it was chemo. I knew drove her to a couple different sessions where she was like getting IV stuff, and with like an hour long thing, we would sit there and do that and just hang out and talk, and I would just like anything. I was like, anything you need, let me know. Um and now like her brother's going through this kind of the same things, but he's not doing so well. He's so I mean that's why they've got that GoFundMe, and that's pinned. The pinned comment is my friend Laura's brother Trent and what he's going through in his current situation. And I mean I know that they're not necessarily part of our community, but they are a huge part of mine. And yeah, so like if you were going to do any super chats for me today, any kind of donations to me today or over the next week, just kind of think about clicking that link and giving them a little something to help them get by. And I'd appreciate that very much. And I want to talk about something here, and I'm not sure how I even feel about it. I don't even know if it's even possible for me. So, for any of you that's listened to me for long enough, you know, you would know like I have said thing, like I've like not necessarily like I don't think coaching is necessarily a bad thing. I just didn't think it was something that I would be necessarily interested in or comfortable doing. That being said, Friday, and even before, I think I saw something about it before. Dr. Barry and Nisha were talking about their new coaching program. So they introduced a new proper human diet certification course, and I was curious to see what everybody thought about that because I'm going to pull up the website. I want to look at this here real quick. Um, let's see. Let's see if I can find this. What it's let's see. All right, let's see what I can find here. Let's see here. Trying to figure this out because I'm trying to find in his information here. There's a website, phdhealthacademy.com, but when I go to that, it doesn't give me anything. So I'm not sure what's going on. I was trying to pull that up to see what's going on with it, and I can't find it. Let me see if I go to see if he's got anything about it on his Instagram. Fascinating conversation we're having, right? I apologize. I'm just trying to see if there's anything in here about this. drbarry.com and see if there's anything clicking in this here, anything yet about it. We'll see. But anyway, what he was saying in the live was it's a 6-month lead course. So it's not at your own pace. It's you have to attend classes. And I just kind of wonder like does and they talk about, helping you find clients and help you with marketing and social media and all that. I just kind of wonder, would that be something that you think I would it be fit me? I don't know, but I mean, it really just comes down to how much it would cost. Because right now I don't have any idea what it would cost. Let's see. Yeah, for some reason the website's just not coming up, so I don't know what's going on with it. But I was just curious what you guys would think about that. People are talking about drinking beer. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you so very much. Trevor says he's eating the Polish pork cabanos, the keto version of a Mars bar. Amy says she wants to be a certified health coach so bad. Malia, thank you so much for being here, dear. I appreciate you so very much. I mean, I'm already doing this. I just kind of wonder like how different it would be. They're like, oh, we'll teach you Zoom, and I'm like, I've got all that kind of stuff down, but maybe streamlining it a little bit. I don't know. I just been so hesitant about becoming a coach. I just don't know. Do you think that would be beneficial to the community having someone like me do that? But also, like I said, it really does come down to like if it's 'cause I think Maria Emmerich has one that's like $4,000. The ketogenic.com one is like $2,000 or $3,000. I imagine with the pedigree that comes with Dr. Barry, it'll probably be more expensive than that. I don't even know where to begin with pricing on something like that. Um, Sean says Shell is doing the primal health coaching class right now. It's pretty intense. Well, tell Shell we said hello. Yeah, I muted myself. She said the sound was. I muted it because I was clicking on a video and I didn't want the video audio to come through. Yeah. Yes, I did, but it was on purpose. And then I realized that I didn't hit the button all the way back. So there we go. Shell says good morning. But does this work? Let's see. Okay. All right. I want to go ahead and bring this up. All right. So let's see what we can find out. So here's the Proper Human Diet Health Coaching Certification Program, transform lives with science-based personalized nutrition coaching. Discover a powerful approach to nutrition to health coaching grounded in evolutionary nutrition principles. Our certification is uniquely designed around the proper human diet, a real whole food animal nutrition focused approach integrating low carb, keto, ketovore, and carnivore strategies. Empower your clients to thrive by helping them achieve vibrant health through personalized nutrition. Why become certified? The world is facing a health crisis. We need compassionate, skilled, and dedicated coaches who can guide clients towards sustainable health goals by grounding coaches in the proper human diet. We aim to create meaningful, lasting change in global health. Additionally, we want our graduates to not only or graduates not just knowledgeable but capable of building rewarding, profitable coaching careers. So, I mean, like, what kind of career can you have? Meet your instructors. We've got Dr. Barry, Niesha, Kim Howerton, Alyssa Rogers. Um, so we're looking at the PhD, marketing, sales, coaching skills, business ownership. So imagine it's like so it's basically a comprehensive 6-month certification, integrates four essential pillars, providing a solid foundation to launch and sustain a thriving career as a health coach and beyond. Let's see. I've already joined the wait list. Registration opens July 1st, 2025, but I've already put my name in there to hopefully get some more information. Um, is this program suitable for beginners? Absolutely. Our program is thoughtfully designed to support both complete newcomers to health coaching as well as existing coaches seeking advanced skills. We provide foundational knowledge for beginners and in depth content to elevate the expertise of experienced participants. What technology will I need? You'll access all program materials through a custom built, user friendly website. The online program is designed to make your learning experience seamless, interactive, and enjoyable, requiring no advanced technical skills. Email, Zoom, laptop, desktop. How much time weekly? A participant typically around 3 to 5 hours per week. This time includes engaging with course lessons, attending live Q&A sessions, and participating in accountability groups. We've structured the program to fit comfortably alongside your existing commitments. Let's see. What if I miss a live session? No worries. Every live session is recorded and made available. Okay. Is there a final exam? Yes. In month 6, you'll complete a practical coaching certification test. The evaluation helps ensure you have the hands on skills and confidence to thrive as a professional health coach, demonstrating your readiness to implement your new skills effectively in real world scenarios. Are payment plans available? Absolutely. We offer flexible monthly payment options designed to make the program accessible, allowing you to comfortably invest in your education without financial strain. That's something good to know. Do I get a certification upon completion? Yes, you do. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Because I mean, realistically, I want to know. I want your feedback because I trust what you guys have to say. Amy said, "Let's do it together." I know the first group is going to be small, and I imagine they're going to be very choosy on who they pick. I don't know. So, yeah. Cindy says, "Unless someone pays for me to do so, no way on earth I could afford any more bills." Yeah. Amy said, "Coach Alyssa and Nisha told me this course was coming at KPO when I asked about being a coach." I understand, and I kind of agree with this, Travis. Is it's an insane cost for a piece of paper. But if it opens you up and allows you to create a business that you can make a living doing, then I don't think it's that crazy. All of the Barry coaches went through Primal. How much is Primal? Do we know? How much is the Primal coaching class? Yeah, I get it, but at the same time, people who want to listen to you and want to have you help them along want there to be at least some kind of certification behind it. I don't know. It just makes you seem, I don't know. It's all kind of smoke and mirrors to a degree. But I mean, hopefully, there's also things to learn. I mean, realistically, like it is a business, it is business focused, but at the same time, how do we help the most people? I think okay, how can I help the most people while still making it financially sustainable for myself? YouTube doesn't pay the bills. It barely keeps my internet on and all the things that I utilize on. Yeah, so 3 to 5 hours a week isn't bad. I just went back to school for IT and it was more like 20 to 40 hours study time. Karen put bacon in the oven. What did you miss? We're talking about the proper human diet certification by Dr. Barry that launches this fall. Wondering if it makes sense for someone like me to go through that. Would it work for me? Could I make it sustainable? Could I turn it into a career? And could I leverage that along with YouTube to help more people? Because it's really why I do YouTube is to help the most people I can. Hopefully, my videos go out there and somebody who needs it finds them and can claw their way back to a meaningful life. So that's what I really want. And Travers is right. It sounds overpriced, but could be handy. I mean, and Carl saying that the PhD program offers business coaching along with it. Too often there are certs and no knowledge on how to move forward. Yeah, that's what I like. I mean, I've kind of like the tips and tricks of social media, how to utilize things. Um, I'm not a fan of Zoom. Zoom and my computer don't get along. Like I can never get Zoom to work on my computer with my camera and everything. So yeah, it's a pain in the butt. But you know, and Amy says that Primal varies because there are three different courses, I think. So 2 to 4,000 and up from there. So there is a workout course too. Okay. Sean says I missed it. How much? Well, they didn't say how much the course is yet. So they just said there's payment plans. So I don't know. Travers says if you get one, get it from an educational institution like a college or something. Maybe handy for beginners, but overpriced. And the online courses won't aren't worth the paper they're written on. The one thing, so I kind of thought this for a long time myself, but I kind of think when it comes to something like Dr. Barry, he comes with, I mean, he's a controversial figure for sure, but I think if you get a certification from Dr. Barry from his certification course, there is some benefit to being in kind of like the Dr. Barry multiverse. I think being involved and being in and surrounded with people that are with Dr. Barry could be very helpful in a business aspect because then if you are in line with Dr. Barry, people trust Dr. Barry by the thousands. And Dr. Barry tries to answer as many questions by the thousands that he can. If you watch his live streams Mondays and such, there are 5 to 6,000 people watching at any given time and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions streaming by faster than he can answer them. So we know that there is a market for people who need to know these answers. And yeah, I wouldn't be Dr. Barry, but I would be able to answer them basically the same way he would. And like I said, I'm still on the fence. I haven't been, I mean, I got to know the price. I got to know, does it make sense? Can I recoup my money? Can I make enough money doing it? Could a career afford me the, will it pay me what it's, what my time is worth? These are all questions that you have to ask. And that's why I always want to run everything by you guys because, collectively you guys will, you guys will shoot me, collectively you'll shoot straight with me, right? Lindy's in the house. Good morning, Lindy. I'm glad to see you. And Amy's right. Some people need extra help and are willing to hire a coach. And there's a lot of people out there who are not willing to do the research and sit through hours and hours of live streams and watch lectures. I spent so much time when I started doing this in 2016. I watched countless lectures from Low Carb Down Under, Low Carb Breckenridge, listening to Steve Volek and Dr. Dr. Volek and Dr. Finney and just listening to as much information as I could find. Listening and listening on every different aspect of this that I could find because this truly means something to me. Finding my health and clawing back from the brink of death is very important to me. And I know that there's thousands and thousands of people out there who are just like me. So that's why I spend countless hours making short form content and long form content and doing these lives because that's the only way I have at this point to give back. That's the only way I have at this point to share a message that I found something that works for me that might work for them as well. And if I could get some kind of certification, even if it's just the tip of the iceberg, say I can afford to get this Dr. Barry certification. And then I'm able to start a career, and then I decide to go and get more education. I can get more, I can afford more education and afford more things and have more to spend on doing things to give back to the community. How wonderful would that be? Where I didn't necessarily need to worry about YouTube and where I could make YouTube content, but I was making it not necessarily worried about how much it was making me or how much effort I had to make, $100 in a month. Because I mean, right now I'm about to get my biggest check from YouTube, but it's for 2 months and it's like just shy of like $400 for 2 months. I didn't get a check last month from YouTube because I was $2 shy of meeting the $100 requirement for them to send me a check last month. So that $98 rolled over into May, and then in May, I got a little bit extra, and so for April and May, $371.48 from AdSense, memberships, and super chats and all that stuff. And I've always said I'm going to do my best to be as transparent about this as I can. Obviously, if I start a business and I'm making money from clients, and that's a little bit different. But with YouTube, I'll always try to be as transparent as I can because I think it's important because so many people want to start YouTube, and then people think YouTube makes a lot of money. Someone like Dr. Barry on YouTube makes a lot of money. Someone like me, not so much. And even people like Steve from Serious Keto and such, he talks about how he was making relatively okay money at first, but then that's fallen off. So, this is all part of the deal, I think we put so much time and energy into making content and I'm offering to help people edit videos for people. I've edited stuff and created things for Amy, and I've made things for Cindy and other people, and I'm always willing to offer my services to edit videos and such because especially like with shorts, I'm pretty good at shorts. Now, the shorts I make are good quality shorts as far as I'm concerned, but they don't necessarily get the traction that I'd like to see them get. Like some of the ones I've made recently didn't get as much traction as I would like about breast milk versus formula and stuff. And I'm always making more content, but you understand. Bride's business says seems more like a business model tool than a real world strategy to help the most people. Many ways to help and all. Let's see. Seems more like a business model tool than a real world strategy to help the most people. So it is a revenue stream for Dr. Barry and Nisha and those coaches involved in teaching it. But for those people who take the course, graduate, get their certificate, and then can move on and make a true effort into helping people and start seeing clients and start putting, their money where their mouth is, helping people. I just kind of wonder, like, is it worth it? So Maria Emmerich gives you a whole business plan. Okay. Sean says the only problem with doing some coaching like this is that if the person you're coaching gets their labs back and the doctor freaks them out, their cholesterol numbers back, are they going to sue? Can they sue? That's a question. So I don't know what the legal ramifications are. I don't know what you're legally allowed to tell people. So like the way that I look at this with doing a YouTube channel, I have to be careful, and I'm not giving anybody medical advice because everybody knows that I am not a doctor or a healthcare professional. I'm not a nurse. I don't even play one on TV. What I do here and what my goal here is to share my life experience, share what's worked for me, and hopefully it might work for you. But I'm not telling anybody to do anything. And I kind of think that that's what coaching does. Coaching is providing tools that you can choose and maybe helping you choose what might work best for you. But my question with that is what Sean's asking here is that's a very valuable question. And I think that's something that we could bring up with Dr. Barry. Like, how does that play out? But I imagine if you're starting this as a business, there's probably some kind of insurance you have to protect against this type of thing. And Amy says, college, you're going to pay $20,000 to $30,000 for a degree in nutrition. It will not be keto based, and they will not teach you how to run a business. You are learning sad diet. That's the truth there too. Yeah, and that's something that I wondered about too. So if his alternative diabetes organization does in fact gain traction, and this is what Bride's Biscuit's saying, and the certificate will then have more weight. I think the more if that's what I so this is like I mean, it's kind of like hedging your bets because Amy's right. Going to college, you're learning a sad diet. You got to take tests and answer questions knowing, in a way that is not right. And you got to then teach people in accordance to what you've learned or you could get sued. Now with a certificate and being a coach, there's like a difference between being like a health coach and like a nutritionist. I just don't know like what I'm kind of curious like what is a what's the average. Let's see. So I just looked up average annual income of a carnivore health coach. Says the average annual salary for a health coach in the US is around $44,000. This figure can vary significantly based on factors such as location, experience, and whether the coach is working in a salary position or an independent contractor. For example, certified health coaches may earn more than those who are not certified. General health coach salary 42 to 46. Online health coaches may also fall in similar salary ranges, higher earning potential. Some health coaches can earn significantly or considerably more, potentially reaching six-figure salaries. Hourly rate, health coaches may also be paid on an hourly rate basis, ranging from 20 to $100 an hour. So it's definitely something to, definitely to consider. So, and I don't know if you're being facetious here, Travers, but if it's Dr. Barry's course, I'm all in. I mean, he's got clout behind him. He really does. He does. I mean, whether you're all in behind him, because I mean, he says things that I don't necessarily agree with, but he's a doctor, so who am I? You know. And Cindy says, I agree. YouTube is very little money unless you have millions of followers. But it is free to put content out. The more we do this brings others to tell their stories and how the PhD has helped them. Yeah, 100%. Primal is around $5,000. So I imagine that if Dr. Barry's course is $5,000 to $6,000, it might be something that I could swing. But we'll just have to see. We have to see, like, because I was like, maybe it'll be like with Dr. Barry's cloud, it might be $12,000. And then I'm like, I don't know if I can afford $12,000. And I imagine if they're doing payment plans or if you're paying it like off all at once, maybe you get more money, or I don't know, like maybe you get something off. I don't know. And Carl says, sadly, the college have to offer SAD nutrition training. Certified dietitians are financed by big pharma, and the PhD is a better option for real health. Yeah. Yeah, and you're right, Cindy. People are learning a lot for free, but we also have to understand that there is a group, there's going to be the people who are willing to take it into their own hands and listen to all these stories and research and watch and do all of the things for themselves is finite. There's going to be more people out there who are not willing to do it, who want to pay someone to help them get the dedicated information right to them and skip the middleman. As much as people watch YouTube, there's a lot of people out there who just don't have the time or energy because time is money, and some people want to get it all without spending the time. They want to spend the money. YouTube is one of those places where you can spend the time for no money, or go to get a health coach and spend all the money for less time. So yeah. And Karen's asking, did I talk about Dr. Kiltz's course they're trying to put together? I just learned about it, so I don't know anything about Dr. Kiltz's course. This is about Dr. Barry's course that they're launching in September. They just announced it Friday. And Amy says, I want a business where I go into homes locally, go through the cupboards, showing people what to get rid of, showing them how to shop. I even thought about doing that, like how to get, go walk people through the grocery store, how to look at labels and that kind of stuff. And maybe I could put together courses like that online as well. And maybe people will be interested in that. How do you shop? What do you look for? What are you avoiding? Just because somebody says no sugar added doesn't mean that it doesn't have sugar in it. It's could be, no sugar added, but they've put, 2 cups of dates in there, you know. Sean says Shell paid 1,500 for the base course. I think it's another 2,000 for the master coaching. So now, do they give her information on how to utilize that base course to make money to then maybe upsell herself and pay for the $2,000 master coaching course? I don't know. That'd be kind of nice. I imagine so. I imagine that the networking of being involved with Dr. Barry would be something very nice. Um, I think that would work very well. So what she's saying here is, Amy says, "I bet Dr. Barry's website will list you as a coach on the website once you complete the course, so people can find you locally." I think so too, and I think just I think there's like I said, there's a clout that comes with being connected with Dr. Barry. There just is, and I mean, and it just comes down to, are you genuine? Do you genuinely want to help people? And are you going into this with the right intentions? Now, I'm going into it as I would like to make a living doing this because I would like to be able to dedicate as much time as possible to this and still be able to afford stuff. Like helping Shannon with bills and all the things you need. So I would like to put it into a job to where I'm helping people and making a living at the same time. I don't think that they have to be separate. I think you should be able to help people and make money too. Craft Crazies in the house. Thank you for being here so very much. I joined the wait list. Cost will determine if I actually apply. I think you'd be a great coach. Well, I appreciate that very much. Have you been here before, Craft Crazy? I don't know if I remember your name or not, or maybe you have a different name that you come in under as well. Yeah. Cost is the most important factor to me. Like, what does it cost? And how long would it take me to recoup that cost? How much can I feasibly make without burning myself out? I don't want to have to take 100, I don't want to have 100 clients a week or 400 clients a month or whatever to make ends meet. I would still like to be able to help as many people as I can by also not burning the candle at both ends. So I want to be able to help people and make a decent living by not burning myself out. I don't want to. It's like kind of one of those things like you want to make money, but you also don't want to make what you would make if you worked at McDonald's too. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna make content for YouTube. I'm not going. I would never go away from YouTube. I would still do these lives on Sunday mornings. I would still do lives like Dr. Barry, whatever. Do lives. I love lives. I love interacting with everybody. This doesn't go away as far as I'm concerned. This is more likely to go away if I have to get another job. Like I have to find a job and I have to find a job soon to where I'm making enough money to help Shander with stuff. And that's going to dictate how much time I get to spend here. And if I can find the right job, then I can take that course and then I move into doing that and build a business, and then that's my ultimate goal. I want to be where I'm helping people, whether it's YouTube and coaching, but I'm not going to get a job at McDonald's and help people. I'm only going to be able to help pay bills. So that's kind of where I'm at. Amy said, Dustin edited a video for me worth $1 million being released tonight. Thank you, Dustin. Love you bunches. Well, I love you too. You're so sweet. And hopefully that video kind of brings in some stuff for you and help grows your channel and all that stuff. It's a funny little video. When it releases, I think you're doing a live tonight, and you're going to showcase the full version live tonight. Yeah. Travis says I did the same. Listened to maybe 6 months of podcasts and keto, carnivore doctors. It worked. I went from no processed food to whole foods to keto to carnivore, and I listened more and saw results. I spent countless hours listening to podcasts and just as feeding into as much as I could, learning as much as I could. And I still do. I'm always watching live streams, watching stuff, trying to learn things, reading Twitter, doing all the things, just trying to keep up. And like on the way down to hang out with Chris and Ash back in February, I listened to a 5-hour podcast with Nick Norwitz about the lean mass hyper responder stuff, and it was like really deep into the woods, or in the weeds I should say, with all of his stuff and the way he talks. Let's see, I went with NASM because of cost, but I've been taking courses on keto and carnivore from other sources. Okay. Evelyn says, since big pharma supports bad dietary training, We need the cattle farmers to support our groups. Yeah, you would think that that would be something they would do. Yes. Smash the like button. Let us know you're there. If you're watching on other platforms, if you're watching over on X or Rumble, let us know. Say hello. Amy says, it costs a lot of money to provide free content. The software for streaming is expensive if you do live cooking shows. The food and for practice is expensive. Cameras are expensive. Everything takes money here. So the streaming that I'm streaming on right now, the streaming service, this is $25 a month. The internet, the camera, the time, the energy, that I pay for everything. So I mean, I use as much stuff as I can for free, but there's certain things that just paying for it helps out so much. So yeah, let's see. Amy said, Coach Alyssa told me you have them sign a waiver before you start coaching them. Being sued was my concern. Yeah. Lindy says, I have a coaching contract with my clients. Yeah, I don't. I never looked into what kind of courses that if Dr. Westman even has courses. I imagine he does. Someone like Dr. Westman coming from Duke, you know what I mean, working at Duke and being involved is going to be a big cloud as well, for sure. And Amy's like, I would like to do this on top of my day job until I retire. This would be supplemental income. What if it became something better from something where you could just do it on its own? It made enough income. Would you quit your day job? Travers says, let's see. Zoe, PhD, speaks very well on this Olax training on nutrition and education. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I know who that is. I had to look it up. Yeah, Brian said that Amy that the waiver must be written by an attorney for it to stand up. I imagine, yeah, and I imagine that's something that's probably provided in the course. You would think. And let's see. Amy says people fail on this diet because they don't want to do the work or their why isn't strong. I don't necessarily think that. I think that it's very easy to fail here because the stakes are strong, but the temptation's so much stronger. The temptation is everywhere. And we can't discount that because as somebody who came from being severely food addicted, I remember starting this out and walking to the grocery store and walking by the cookie aisle, and I would just get this tightness in my chest, like I just would just get the yearning for the cookies, like I want a box of Oreos, I want whatever. I would just see things like, and then new things would come out. They'd put out new products, and I'm like, "Oh, why didn't they have that when I could eat it?" All these, and I still see that from time to time. But that yearning goes away, but it takes so much time. It takes time for that to go away. For it takes time for that to kind of really solidify and for it all to take hold. Yeah. It takes so much willpower. It takes willpower, but it also takes finding the right way of eating that really turns off the necessity for willpower. But that takes so much time because you have to completely change your eating identity. And people fail because it's almost designed to fail. We're designed They want us to fail with commercials and everything involved. You can't go anywhere without there being food, and rightfully so. Food is paramount, and that's in our culture. Sports game, food, anything, food, grocery store, food, regular store, food. I mean, there's always something like you go to Walmart and they've got cooked food at the front. they've got like chicken nuggets and corn dogs and all that stuff, sandwiches, and you can get cups of mac and cheese and all that stuff right there at the grocery store. Doesn't matter where you go, there's always something. And there's food in different locations. Like at Walmart, they've got all the healthy keto food in the medicine aisles. It's almost like it's designed to fail. So when we don't fail, that's the outlier. So I can't say that people fail on this diet because they don't want it bad enough. People want it so desperately. But the demons, the food addiction, the just everything is kind of stacked against you. So it's amazing that so many of us actually do succeed at all. And I don't think their why isn't strong enough. I think your why is to survive. My why is so I don't die. My why is so I can spend time with my grandchild, spend time with my wife, spend time with you, my friends, go and do things and not feel like garbage all the time. But even with that, it doesn't matter what your why is, it's still stacked against us. And it takes everything I still fail. And I've been doing this since 2016. There's still times at the grocery store I put things in my cart I shouldn't. And I know better. I'm here telling you because I am here telling you I should automatically know better. I do know better, but I put it in the cart and I take it home and I eat it. It's impossible to get away from it. And I don't think we're ever going to see a time, at least in our lifetimes, where we can get away from it. And I think that's what's so paramount about this. I think that's what makes something like going into this so valuable. If it makes sense. I mean, that's why I spend hours and hours and hours and hours on YouTube and making content and going live and thinking about what I'm going to talk about on lives and working the days before going live to put this together. So I have topics so we can talk. It's just never ending. And Trevor says, I'm being serious. It takes willpower, but I felt amazing after 8 weeks following Dr. Barry. Then I felt invincible. I slipped, still good on keto now, just not as amazing. Yeah. DJ Play Nice is in the house. Rock on. Good morning. Good morning, DJ. Glad to see you. Ash Taylor, the one, the only, the multi-talented Ash Taylor's in the house. And I imagine with her, Mel is not too far behind. And I imagine behind her is a Chris from Chris Cook in Nashville making some coffee for her. So she's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to hang out with us today. Rise Biscuit says the closer you can attach your approach to mainstream accepted orthodoxy, the more legit you will be considered. I guess getting legitimacy in that space is how we shift the paradigm, though. Yeah, I wonder how that's going to be. Like, it's going to take time. I think with time and results, legitimacy shows up, right? I just, I kind of think like it's just going to take a lot of time because I know, and we have people coming in like our, uh, I want to say Robert Downey Jr., but it's um, RDJ or whatever his name is, right? And we've got him in here, and he's talking about things, but then like he's a very controversial figure. So I don't know. I don't know if he's helping or hurting. It's kind of on the fence whether he's actually doing a benefit to us or a disservice to us. I know people like him, people hate him. He's very controversial. There's things that I don't agree with him on. There's things I think we should be looking at that's not like more low hanging fruit. You know, I just think we should be focusing on the most important pieces and then working on other things later. That's just me. And Travis is asking, how much is the Dr. Barry course? I don't know how much a Dr. Barry course is yet. Right now, I just said there's be payment plans available. They're going to probably launch it in July and probably start looking at who they're going to accept into their first round of courses. So I imagine we'll probably get a detailed outline of how much it's going to cost. But if we look at how much other courses in that vein cost, probably $5,000 to $6,000, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not on the top end of the courses, probably 6, 7, maybe $8,000. Because I know there's courses out there who do cost that much. Hopefully it's competitive. Hopefully they maintain a competitive nature to their courses. But at the same time, do they want to be more elite, so to speak? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Janet from Another Planet is in the house. Good morning, Janet. Thank you for being here, dear. Yeah. Make sure your clients are all dwarves. Yeah. Amy says, yes, I have a premiere with me talking about what happened, but your short skills are amazing. Well, thank you so much. About half the time. Evelyn says, work somewhere you're guaranteed to have Sundays off, Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby. I didn't even think about Hobby Lobby. I actually worked where the building where Hobby Lobbies used to be. I worked for a company called Media Play way back in the 90s. And I got the job. I was super stoked to get the job. And then the weekend that I got the job, they said they were going out of business. So I basically worked there until they went out of business. That sucked. But, and Cindy is putting channels in the chat. So those who would like their channels to show up, let our wonderful moderators know. They will do what they can for you. And there's Chris. There's Mr. Nashville himself. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Janet from Another Planet, for saying to hit the like button. I appreciate that so very much. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Yeah, Nick Norwitz is he gets very much in the weeds though, very much into the minutia. Sherry Lynn is in the house. Good morning, guys. I know I'm super late and I haven't been in for a while. Hope everyone is doing well. Well, Sherry, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Never late as long as we're still going strong. Very much appreciative. Thank you so very much. Chris says that being a YouTuber is expensive. Y'all don't even know what it costs to create recipes. Oh my goodness, Chris. Just trying to get the stuff. I gotta wait till I get some of that sweet YouTube money so I can buy the stuff so I can try your 90-second bread recipe. You know? I mean, I just had to buy a new mouse. My mouse died. The little scrolly wheel just stopped. Just gave it up. Couldn't do it anymore. Amy says I would have to make over 6 figures to make purchasing my own health insurance worth it. Oh yeah, there's that. Yeah. I always forget about health insurance because I don't have any. But I did, and then Chandler's job changed, and then I didn't have it anymore. Debbie Savings. Good morning, everyone. I wish everyone the best on starting Triple B&E today. I'm working most every day, but still not doing my best. I'm walking most every day, but still not doing my best. I'm trying to get the crazy out of my life, and then I can do better again. Just try to make sure you're doing everything as easily and simply as you can. With all the crazy, try to make what you're eating the least important part of the day. Try and make it a no-brainer, whether that's just frozen burger patties and some scrambled eggs. Takes 5 minutes, whatever it is, something you could throw in the air fryer. Just make it as least abrasive as you can. Rick seems to think that temptation is only found on the meat department. Well, Rick is a outlier there again, and Chris has a more realistic look there, where he's like, "Temptation is everywhere. Support and kindness in the midst of struggling is not." Yeah, that's the thing is like there is temptation everywhere. I mean, you can't go anywhere without there being something to catch your eye. Oh, I want that might taste good. And they're like, you go to the movie theater and they're selling pretzel bites now with cheese sauce or icing or whatever it is, and they've got popcorn and you can buy a bucket that you can free refill on Wednesdays if you buy the bucket. The bucket's $27, and we're probably going to be taking the girl to the movies more often because it's summertime now. She's on summer vacation, and we're going to do stuff with her to get her out of the house. And oh my goodness, temptation is everywhere. Amy said, that is true, Dustin. I fell off Atkins 20 years ago on my honeymoon because I thought I could cheat at the cruise buffet and come back home and get back, and I never did. I think it just depends on how long you've been doing something. So for me, it doesn't seem like no matter how much, like no matter how bad the meal is or how many days we kind of go off the rails or whatever, I still know where zero is. I still know how to get back to what I want to do. How long it takes me to get there is a whole other thing, but I know I'm going to make it back. If it's a week, if it's 2 weeks, I'm always going to make it back. And Janet has to eat gluten free. A lot of people, so keto inadvertently, a lot of times is gluten free, but not exclusively gluten free because there's a lot of keto friendly products. I say friendly in quotes at the grocery store that do have gluten because vital wheat gluten itself is relatively low carb, but because it's like separated from the wheat. But yeah, so I mean, you just have to be careful because gluten free is not all gluten free isn't keto, and keto isn't always gluten free. But if you look at what the proper human diet would be under normal circumstances, under most things, that's going to be gluten free. That's steak, beef, pork, chicken, bacon, eggs, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, whole foods. Debbie says, if I ever win the lottery, I would give all my people community here with any money needs. I mean that. That's pretty amazing. I would set up a foundation to do that, something like that, so you know that it's going to the right places. And because like, there's typically if you are known to give out money, the hands just you know. Yeah, Rick says his life is basically temptation free, and that's just such a rarity these days. It is such a very, it is a very, very temptation life. And if you're able to avoid temptation when it comes to food, then you're better off than 99% of the people. I just don't think 99% of the people that deal with temptation understand how to get around most of the temptation because most of the temptation doesn't bother me anymore. But I still understand that it's there. The temptation is always there. Whether or not you see it on a day to day basis, you're still going to notice it from time to time and it's going to catch you off guard sometimes and you're going to fall for it. It's there. And Travers says, believe it or not, my mom was doing keto whole food diet in the 80s, had a lot of resistance. She was 30 years ahead of her time. She just heard about Dr. Atkins in the 90s before retired. Let's see. Before retired, and a piece she was missing. Yeah. Risa's finally awake. Well, welcome, Risa. Thank you for being here. Totally appreciate you so very much. And Cindy says, I keep my costs as low as possible on my channel, which is why I don't do cooking videos for the most part. Only show what we are eating. Hats off to Chris cooking that. Well, yeah, I mean, Chris is putting in the big effort, and he's growing, doing wonderful big things. I'm so very proud of him. He was doing big things before I even met him, but still, the things he's done since we've met has just been fantastic. Debbie saves this day as our anniversary, 12 years. Just saying, well, happy anniversary. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, this is a program since the first Happy Meal you get as a kid. I mean, I grew up in the '80s, drive through. I mean, that's the one thing is like I don't even do drive through much anymore. And well, I do drive through, but that's typically to get Coke Zero and Diet Cokes because now there's a McDonald's like right near our house, like super close to our house, like uncomfortably close to our house. And I might actually work there. So I mean that'll be nice. I don't have to drive very far. But yeah, like the like just ordering from my phone, grabbing the sodas, this, that, and the other. But I mean our granddaughter gets a happy meal every once in a while. And yeah. The simplicity of it all. The readily how readily available it is. Chris says, "Imagine if crack was legal everywhere you went. The majority of you would world did it and told you it was good for you, and then super fun. Would you be able to quit being an addict easily?" Okay, my thing is I think like so. My thing is like the hard drug distinction with food is both relevant and not because most of us have had opportunities to try hard drugs, whether legal or not. But when it comes to food, we have to eat. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like I mean, and I mean, it's yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, it is difficult. I don't know. I don't know. I don't actually honestly know the answer to that. And maybe it's just I don't know. I don't know. And Trevor says Zoe Harcum PhD is worth checking out. She worked in big food, so she knows their tricks. She did hardcore vegan, then changed to keto carnivore after learning more. She's awesome. Okay, I'll check her out. Debbie loves all your cooking videos, Cindy and Chris, as do I. And Chris is right here. So it's like, it's going to take time and results pushing into mainstream and the community not acting like whack jobs dogmatically, fighting about all the details constantly. Yeah, the minutia, fighting over the minutia is some of the most aggravating part of this. And the thing is you can't force anybody to do anything. So, not that I think we're going to see changes and guidelines. I mean, it's going to take changes in guidelines, and it's going to take time for those guidelines to sink in and for doctors to even know they've been changed. Because, I mean, things have changed in literature and doctors don't even know. So I just kind of wonder like, I mean, this is a long term process. No matter how much change we may be seeing right now, there's going to be other administrations, points of focus change, other agendas. We're gonna get pushback from agriculture, and rightfully so. You have to figure that a paradigm shift that we need to change eating habits of not just our country, but the world. But just take our country, for example. Look at the subsidies: corn, soy, all the subsidies that go into agriculture. Think about all the money that's in manufacturing that goes into processing and manufacturing all the processed foods that are in the center aisle of the grocery store. There's what, 400,000 different items at a grocery store or whatever, some crazy number of items in the grocery store, different SKUs. For this to happen, there has to be a substantial shift in manufacturing, agriculture. It's going to take a lot of time to do it to where we can rebuild our health, but not destroy our economy and our country doing so. We've kind of got ourselves painted into a corner almost. It's gonna take some finagling to get things done to where we don't devastate our economy any more than we already have to make ourselves healthy. We don't want to go and make ourselves healthy again and then have nothing to live for. Nothing, like no jobs, no economy, no money, no food. We need to slowly start we had to slowly start shifting the subsidies from corn and soy to beef and chicken and raising things correctly and stop having vegetarian fed chicken, have free range chicken. And I mean, I even with grain fed beef, like most, like make sure it's grass fed for most of its life. You want to finish it off for grain fed because it tastes better to you? Cool. Grass fed, grass fed, grass finished, that's a taste in of itself. Not everybody likes that. Grass fed, grain finished tastes different. But how do we get to a point where we have those choices and make it economical and not destroy ourselves or destroy the grocery stores themselves? We have to take all that into account because it's like spinning plates. You can't just, I mean, you just can't turn off big pharma. You can't turn off big agriculture. You just can't turn these things off because then, with one thing falls, a lot of it falls. And if it all falls, what do we have? So we have to be deliberate in what we're doing, but we got to be smart too. We can't just expect this behemoth of a global machine to just pump the brakes and turn around on a dime because it's not going to. It's going to take decades. I probably won't even see it fully realized. I'll be long buried before it's all realized. I think, I don't even know if our grandchildren will see it fully realized. I just don't know. I mean, we don't even have clean formula. So if a baby is either breastfed by its mom or it's put on basically disgusting, awful formula. We don't even have that worked out. We can't even get out of our own way enough to make sure that baby formula is healthy enough for our babies. Profit driven in that aspect is too much. I don't understand how we even get there. And Reese is saying, I don't know if I was doing triple B&E that it would be so tempting to go off because I work in a bakery at a supermarket. Right across from my bakery is the pre-made meals on the wall. Would eat it all. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is it's difficult. I mean, you work in a bakery, you work in, I have friends that have tried doing keto and stuff and they work in bakeries and are making desserts and pies and cakes and cookies and stuff all the time. How do you not lick your fingers by mistake or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, even when I'm fasting and I'm cooking food for the family and I'm cutting steaks apart, cutting something apart, I got to be careful and mindful not to lick my fingers, you know? Thank you for being here, Danny. Have a good day, buddy. I appreciate you. Bride's Biscuit says, I think that it's rare to impossible for the population who are not carb addicted to really and fully understand what that is like for us every day. I appreciate your well thought testimony. Well, thank you. I think there's more of us than we know. Most of the population is carb addicted without even knowing it. They just don't understand. They just attribute everything to feeling bad and go to the doctor and have them give them a prescription. I'm feeling bad. Okay, here's a prescription. I'm feeling bad. Have a prescription. They never once talk about getting to the root cause. And that's like, that's kind of what I look at when it comes to things like GLP-1s just for weight loss. We're addressing weight loss, like, that's where, like, gastric bypass comes in with weight loss or GLP-1s with weight loss. We're so we are so concerned with weight loss that we're not even able to back up a second and look at what's causing the weight gain. Why have you gained the weight? What else could be the what's the root cause of your weight gain? Because weight gain or being overweight can cause problems. Weight gain does cause problems, but but weight gain in of itself is not the root cause of the issues. The underlying issues are what caused the weight gain, and then with weight gain comes specific issues. I had terrible issues when I was overweight. I would go to the bathroom 5, 6 times in a work day, like the sit down bathroom, not the stand up bathroom. And it would be, oh, gotta go right now. And I had a problem because I was too big to fit in most of the stalls. I had to go to the handicap stall. I was too big to fit in the normal stalls. I had to go to the handicap stall, and there was one handicap stall per floor. And it was a 4-floor building. So 4 floors, 4 handicap stalls in the men's rooms. And there's a couple hundred people working in that office at certain points of time. There was a point when it was super full, and super parts it wasn't. But so I would go to our 3rd floor bathroom, and if that big stall was taken, I would have to take the elevator to the 4th floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor. Fingers crossed that nobody was in one of those big stalls. Otherwise, I might be going home for the day. So, I mean, with being big comes other things, other complications. Not just finding clothes or standing out in a crowd. People, oh, look at the fat guy. Yeah, that's part of it, but that's the least of your worries when you're big. It's all the other things. How am I going to navigate? Can I go to this restaurant? Am I going to be able to fit in the booth? Do I have to sit at a table? Is it a booth that moves? Can I even fit? Like, I'm not even going to fit there. You know, riding on an airplane. All these things. I've seen people where they had to buy new cars because they couldn't drive their car anymore because they couldn't fit behind the steering wheel. Their seat didn't go back far enough. Thankfully, I didn't have that issue. I would have had I not started to solve the problem when I did. But there's just so many complications with being big, but being big wasn't what caused my problems. And I think we get so caught up in weight and the gravity of the situation, pun intended, that we lose sight of the idea of what's the root cause. Even with some of the jobs I've had, we've gone through training classes of how to get to the root cause of issues. What problems are you having? What's the root cause of that? But we never thought to look at that with our bodies. And that's what I was talking about with a friend last night. She's on Ozempic, and I'm like, well, Ozempic doesn't solve the root cause. You're not on Ozempic because you were Ozempic deficient. That's like you don't take you're not taking a headache medicine because you're aspirin deficient or ibuprofen deficient or acetaminophen deficient. You take those because something else is wrong, but you're treating the symptom, which is the headache, instead of figuring out what is the cause of your headache, which could be electrolyte imbalance. It could be light sensitivity, sound sensitivity, who knows, just stress, all kinds of things. But we don't ever look at that. And Andy says that I just grateful that I can shake my head at the previous way of eating and know I'm ahead of the game. Yeah, 100%. Sherry Watkins says basically just popping in to say hi and hit the like button. These days I'm on a tear to get things done. Love to all my friends here. Have a good one. Well, Sherry Watkins, thank you for being here, dear. I truly appreciate you stopping in and saying hello. Travis says he's the only politician talking about nutrition, so that's always going to be a good thing. Yes, but the problem with him is him being so controversial is the fact that it doesn't necessarily matter what he says, how true what he says may be. It's the impact, the effect of it's somebody you don't like. So people who don't like him, just like with certain person in the top spot of our country right now, they could come out and go, "Water's wet, the sky is blue," and people will argue that fact, and they'll say, "Nope, you're wrong. Could you believe what he said? He said the sky is blue. He said that water's wet. Can you believe he said that?" So it doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter who's saying what. If you can't trust what they're saying, or if their overall popularity isn't high enough, they're saying things that may be true, but because they're so controversial, does it matter they're saying important things? Is it falling on deaf ears? Are they also saying things that may or may not be true, that are getting them and making them look and sound crazy? There's all these things to consider because when e- because like a broken clock is right twice a day. So I mean, RFK Jr. is saying some things that I like, but he's also barking up some trees that are making things difficult for him to get things done in the realms that we do like. Him talking about, beef tallow and meat being, being important, and cholesterol or whatever the food dyes. But then he's saying other things that make him sound nuts, which kind of override him being right about the other stuff. And we're already kind of fighting an uphill battle with all that stuff anyway, because there's people who still to this day don't believe that meat's healthy, or that beef tallow is healthy. So we're still fighting an uphill battle. So we have to have people who can come in and be mindful of everything that they're talking about, and very picky and choosy on the things that they are picking picking as their battles, because you can pick a couple of righteous battles here, and then over here you're starting to dismantle things that you shouldn't be touching right away, or even be touching at all, that are none of your business. And I just kind of worry that there's a lot of that going around these days. Amy says she remembers media play. That's okay. It happens. It happens. It happens. Risa says, I think I will always consider myself carb addicted, but I have learned over the years how to control it. Some people cannot control it, can't moderate. For those, triple B&E is a tool. Get rid of the food noise. Yeah, that's exactly why I utilize triple B&E, to help me get rid of the food noise. I mean, even in my own house, there's distractions, there's temptations every day. I've got two boys who are bringing pizza into the house almost every night. Taco Bell, McDonald's, Wendy's, all the stuff in the house all the time. Our freezer and the thing has got all kinds of like pizza pockets and burritos and frozen pizzas and all the things that they want to buy. They're adults. I can't tell them not to buy it. I do kind of appeal to them and say, hey, you guys, like, hey, this is a struggle for your mom and I. This makes us struggle. It makes us being on track harder. And while I understand you guys eat what you want, you have your autonomy and you have your own money and you're buying these groceries, it makes our lives more difficult. So to distract, it's I don't have to go to the grocery store for there to be things that I would like to have. Like I make the girl some chicken nuggets, and I've tried to make her like keto chicken nuggets and stuff. She just won't eat them. And so I buy chicken nuggets for her and I make them, but that's a temptation for me, because then if she doesn't eat them, I don't want to throw them away. But do I throw them away, or do I eat 3 chicken nuggets? Is 3 chicken nuggets the end of the world? Does that make me off track? I mean, while I'm doing triple B&E, of course it is. But through the normal course of my day, is that enough carbohydrates to really throw me off for the day? Maybe they're covered in like, breading and stuff. I don't know. It's a struggle. It's a struggle with someone her age to get them to eat and eat something that's good for them. It's a struggle to like just get her to eat meat. It's just she just doesn't want to eat things. She'd rather not eat at all until she's I make her eggs and she'll eat eggs, but even still, she gets tired of eggs and just won't eat them for a week, you know? And Amy's asking, what was that dry aged steak? Chris has got that coming up. I know we released a video about dry aged steaks yesterday. Something was like a bacon grease steak thing. Yeah. Amy says it only costs 1,200 a month for my husband to be on my insurance. Well, the thing for us was we're considered a partnership, but because they decided to not do partnerships anymore, and we're not married, we don't have a marriage license and all that stuff, so they wouldn't have us on her insurance. So there's that. So yeah. Cindy said, Amy, when I got Medicare, Brian took me off his insurance, saving us about 300 a month. It's crazy. Yeah. Risa says it doesn't help when my coworker is continually sending me things from Facebook or Instagram with my new summer varieties of drinks, snacks. She just gives me things to continue my addiction. I do. I look at the same thing. I look at stuff and I'm like, there are certain things I see. I'm like, ooh, I really got to try that. I know I'm gonna go to the fair this year, and I'll probably have a corn dog or five or whatever. But I know I'm always seeing different restaurants pop up. I'm like, oh, that looks good. I'd eat that. But he said I've told her to stop, but she won't listen. Block her. If it's that big of a deal, just block her. Like I'll unblock you and you stop sending me stuff. Amy says my husband can't get Medicare until August 2026, but he wants to retire today. Yeah. Cindy says she made the 90-second bread recipe the other day. It was good. And Travers says key tip, Debbie: butter diced and fried bacon, then add 2 egg whites till cooked on a plate, and then add raw yolks. That sounds delicious. I like that, Travers. Let's see. Yeah, we were talking about this recently. Gluten free is not always low carb, and low carb isn't always gluten free. You just got to read the packages. Even like my aunt found with her celiac, some of the cereals, like the gluten free cereals, are not necessarily gluten free. They're just putting it on the box. It's awful. Oh, I forgot I had coffee. Amy said, I just made runny eggs because of this live stream. Yes. Cindy says, we won't eat until about 1 or 2, which is typical for us. Yeah. Yeah. Good advice. Just be like, I'll have to block you if you can't stop, or block her, and then be like, I'll unblock you if you stop sending me stuff. Yeah. And Brian's Biscuit says, practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. That is the tool for change. That is the road for health. Practice strengthens vigilance. That's how we mitigate temptation. Yeah, and I do the best I can, but I mean, like, they're not going to live here forever. And when they're not here, it'll be a lot easier. Travis says, I was able to buy duck eggs today. I find duck eggs sometimes at what am I calling it? It's called Fresh Time. Fresh Time has duck eggs. Sometimes they'll have a 6 pack for $6. It used to be that. I think they might be like $10 now because everything went up. All the eggs went up. Amy says, I'm gonna want to retire when hubby does, but I'm 14 years younger. Oh, goodness. Just a baby. Debbie says, I would give the money to you guys personally. I trust you. I appreciate that very much. I don't know how trusting I am of people. And Cindy says, I heard it many years ago that it takes 21 days of consistency to make something a habit and one to break that habit. Yeah. And Amy said, I had Coke Zero on my vacation. It was so delicious. I could get addicted. I haven't had Coke in 7 years. I still have Coke Zero from time to time when we go out places that have it. Like it's right there. Like McDonald's sells it right there. And then now that McDonald's has it, it's nice knowing that it's available because it's kind of nice knowing that there's something that I can get while I'm out. It kind of makes me feel like I'm getting a treat of some sort because I know like when we used to go run errands, we'd stop in and get things. So now having at least a Coke Zero for $1 or $2 or whatever $1.50 or whatever, you know. Yeah, happy anniversary to Debbie and hubby. 100%. Travers says once you start with small amount of carbs, the carb feeling in your gut multiply and that starts sending signals the vagus nerve in the brain and try to get more hard to kill them off again 2 weeks. Yeah, yeah. So true. Risa says commercials on TV was what programmed me at a young age. Tricks, Mickey D's, Frosted Flakes. Yeah, it was like drugs. And then high school cafeteria turned into fast food, burgers, fries. Yeah, 100%. Debbie's saying to Travers, I'm not a big fan of eggs, but I love bacon. I'm still struggling with eating eggs. I know crazy, huh? But I'm not a picky eater overall though. Yeah. And Amy says some of the carnivore channels turn me off because they are so dogmatic. I don't think yeah, it's just that people don't understand that the individuals are in their communities and individuals need individualistic ideas and care and not everybody's the same place as you and you can't just go and start slapping at people and snapping at people that's not this because of this and that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't improve anybody's existence. You're trying to help and you're trying to make things better for them, but you're not. That's why you can't go to your friends and go, you have to do this. I can't believe you won't do this. You know, I've been working on a friend of mine for like 5 years. He's got ulcerative colitis and he's on all this medication. And I'm like, you could get rid of that by just doing this. And he goes, well, I can take my medication and still eat what I want. And I'm like, ah, you know, it's like, come on, come on. Ash says, helping people doesn't mean you'll get rich. We work hard to cover our bills, and whatever extra we have goes into creating resources to help others. It's not about profit, it's about purpose. Yeah. And I think, and I don't think I'm ever going to get rich doing this or on YouTube or even if I take the coaching and do start doing coaching full time and I don't know I don't think I'll ever get rich. I might make a decent living doing it, but at least it'll be a decent living doing something that I'm proud of, that's fulfilling, that's helping people. Because if I'm going to make money, I might as well make money doing something for the good. And I know I have a lot of you that'll hopefully keep me in my place, and that's one thing that I told Chris and Victor in our group chat the other day. I was like, if I'm ever becoming a douchebag, please let me know. If I ever say something and come off like a douchebag, tell me because sometimes you don't see it because you live it. So tell me I'm always very worried that I'm going to do things that make people not respect me because respect to me is earned. It's not just given freely. And I would like to make money doing this. I would like to make enough money to survive and make it sustainable and make a living doing all the things that I want to do for people and because this is truly fulfilling and it truly drives me and motivates me and as driving and motivational as it is, not making money very much money doing it is very stressful. So, I mean, it's like I want to be able to be self-sustainable to where, I want to be able to go on vacation and I want to be able to buy all the things that I need, new cameras and new laptops. Because the laptop I'm using is from 2022, and I mean, it's gonna go out eventually. And I mean, it's like not really upgradable. Like I can't upgrade the RAM, and eventually it's gonna have to be upgraded because things move on and things progress, and I've got to be able to afford to keep things going. And so I mean, like I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not trying to be a millionaire or anything like that. But I want to be able to fund everything that I need to do as much as I can, because I kind of feel the more the more freedom I have to make the content and to help people, the more I can help. I don't know if that makes any sense. I hope that comes across the way I want it to. Evelyn says we are going to make breakfast tacos with the cheesy egg life hack: shredded chicken, chipotle, seasoned scrambled eggs. Yeah, purpose over profit. I still need, but you're like, I gotta be able to pay my bills. you know, um, and I want to feel like my time, because I know that like the time that I spend doing this is worthwhile, because I'm trying and dedicating myself to helping people. But I also want to make sure that like I'm getting compensated some too, so I can keep it going. And I know that, and I try to say that in a way that doesn't sound greedy. But I mean, I don't make any money. I'm so poor. Shander makes money. I do not. So yeah. Chris says, no matter what we do, kindness and supporting people and not being judgy asshats is going to be vital to making this work. We have to work together and focus on helping people instead of attacking. 1000%. Chris, I couldn't have said it better myself, buddy. Trevor says it takes 15 to 20 years before doctors see changes in guidelines. Food industry will fight back just like tobacco industry did in the 80s. Well, tobacco industry was fighting back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Um, just now starting to see traction where like it's taking cigarettes being $12 to $15 a pack to really kind of get people to really back off. But now they're vaping like crazy. But vaping, I don't even know how much that costs. I have no idea. I remember when I quit smoking, cigarettes were like $5 to $6 a pack, like $5 a pack, somewhere like that. And that was ridiculous at the time. Evelyn says Reese's start with cheese on top of the wrap until it's melted to wrap. Flip it, crisp it up, make sure there's plenty of butter or bacon grease in the pan. Yes, that sounds delicious. Risa says she's going to try that. Lindy's out of here heading to church. She's probably already gone because I'm like 24 minutes behind. So crazy that I'm so far behind. Trevor says, I missed the National Health Service ads from the 50s telling pregnant women to smoke to calm their nerves. Yeah. Amy says, my favorite meat market closed because they couldn't keep up with the prices of chain grocery stores. Yeah. It's like you got to keep up with the prices, but you got to be, it's just so ridiculous. Sherry says, morning all, been listening for a while, but still an hour behind. Well, we're here. We're here when you get here. Amy says, I usually fast on Sundays when I'm doing lives, and sometimes I cheat and try a bite on camera when I cook. Yeah, I couldn't, yeah. I was thinking about fasting today outside of my coffee, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. We'll see how I feel. Karen says, I think it's awful when I go to the doctor's office and they have a candy bowl sitting on on the receptionist's desk. But they don't mean it. They don't think of it like that. They're not thinking of it they're not thinking of it like that. I mean, they're really not. Like they're really not thinking about it as a bad, like they're just like, maybe it's for a kid. It's like lollipops at the bank, candy at the post office and all that stuff. Like there's candy and stuff all over the place, and people think they're just being nice and helpful and giving you a treat. But when you're eating the candy and you're drinking like, you're drinking your Starbucks milkshake and you're having your breakfast, which is really dessert. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've got a short. I have a short like from about a year ago or so. It's like, you know, like this is the breakfast. This is what the kid wants to eat, and it's like cake, and like this, and then like this is what they want you to eat, and it's like pancakes with syrup, which is basically cake, and like this is, and then I have, and that's like basically what you should eat, and it's bacon and eggs. Yeah, like they're trying to, I don't know, they're like, no, don't eat cake for breakfast, eat pancakes or oatmeal. And Chris says, I had bad IBS, got to go now type on the sad lifestyle. That's something made much harder when you're 400 pounds. It gets embarrassing quickly if you don't keep it controlled. Yeah, I mean, just realistically, like having difficulties reaching to wipe well, and then you're worried, do I smell bad today? Do I have, like, am I able to keep myself? There's just so many things that people don't even have any idea about. Like, just being big has so many complications that people just have no idea. And I understand that there's a lot of creators out there and a lot of people that are trying to do right by everybody, but if you've not been fat, if you've not been that obese and you're trying to belittle someone and shame someone who is obese into not being obese, but you don't have that experience, slow your roll. You gotta have some compassion because they're going through things you cannot fathom. And I understand all shapes and size people with IBS, but being IBS and then 400 plus pounds too, man, like there's bathrooms out there that are just not meant for big people. Like I want to travel Europe and go to Europe and stuff, but then I worry about like the bathroom situations over there. Like I was watching Man versus Beard or whatever. He's like a competitive food eater. He's a skinny guy. And he was in Germany and he was like, I just want to show you how little their bathrooms are. Like the stalls were like just so narrow. Like I would be like, well, I guess I'm going in the street, you know? Evelyn says, got to this international travel as a big person is also very difficult. No place to replace lost clothes if your luggage is delayed. Yeah, just having an idea of like, trying to find out like, just find replacement. I mean, because it's not an economy for it over there. Cars are smaller. I mean, they think our pickup trucks are crazy. Tony Jacobs is in the house. Good morning, Tony. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you so very much. Good to see you, my friend. And Cindy says you need to change your fasting day so you can eat what you're cooking. Yeah. And Debbie says, Karen, the only way I eat eggs is if they are scrambled with sugar-free ketchup. Sounds like me when I was like 5. When I was like 5, 6, 7 years old. Ketchup and scrambled eggs was some of the best. I don't think I could stomach it now. The thought of it kind of makes me want to gag a little bit. Like, I just don't think I could do it. Like, I remember it tasting good when I was a kid, but I don't think that flavor is going to translate now. Yeah, I don't think I could do it now. And Risa said, yeah, her mom used to eat scrambled eggs with Heinz ketchup. Never eat them that way. I don't remember I don't know what brand my ketchup was when I was a kid, but it was probably whatever was cheapest, probably, store brand or whatever. I don't remember. I don't know if we had Heinz or not, but I just remember it being really good as a kid. Now, just the thought makes me want to just, mm-mm, no thanks. Andy said, just showed Susan the carnivore 92nd bread. She's very interested. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I agree. Travers like the only a controversial politician would talk about nutrition. I get it. So like, but the thing is that controversial politician needs to be mindful that if they actually want to have meaningful change with some of the controversial things they're implementing, that they need to be mindful not to put other things out that discredit the other stuff they're trying to say. I mean, people already don't take him seriously because he had brain worms. So I'm just saying, like, you just gotta. There's just gotta be. I don't know. Cindy's got to go. Got to get some stuff done. 2 lives to create for this coming week. 3 eBay orders to prepare for shipping. Well, thank you for being here, Cindy. We love you so much. Amy says, I moderate my carbs, but still have food noise. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's why I try to do what I got to do because of, you know, yeah. Yeah. The food noise is difficult. Craft crazy, says Dustin. I agree about don't feel good. Here's a prescription. Was recently in the hospital over a week with heart issues. Never once was diet discussed and was put on multiple meds right out of the gate. That's the thing. Like they just don't ask about what are you eating? I don't think they can. I don't think they're legally allowed. Maybe somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but you go to a vet and you take your dog in. Well, what have you been feeding him? What have you been feeding it? Human can't ask. It's not relevant to them, you know. Debbie says, Risa, I know most people think ketchup on eggs is disgusting and totally get that. Must have been the only way my mom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how I would eat it when I was a kid. I thought it was great. But now I think back and like just the memory of the flavor, even knowing that I liked it back then, the flavor now makes me sound, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Amy says, I'm glad my husband eats what I do. It was harder when he ate sad diet and I ate keto and I had to cook 2 meals. Well, like when we went keto, like I don't cook anything for our kids that's not keto. I only cook keto food. That's why in our house there's like mac and cheese cups for the microwave and all that stuff because our kids, like our son fought using the air fryer. He was like, I just use the microwave for everything. I'm like, air fryer is just like it's like a slower microwave, but it makes everything crispy. There's Jerry. Good morning, Jerry. Hello and happy Triple B&E June 1st. Everyone, I'm excited to be in the YouTube challenges with Lindy and Cindy. I'm doing it too, but it's not official like you guys. I'm not a part of that, but I'm here with you guys doing a whole thing, you know. You know. Let's see. People saying hello, hello, hello. There's my brother. Hey guys, long time no talk. I'm in Illinois with a buddy dropping in to say hey. Well, love you, Leaky. Thank you for being here. That's my brother. Probably long gone by now. Debbie's on her way out. Finishing getting ready to go to church. Well, Debbie, thank you for being here. Jerry said fabulous recipe ideas are coming on Triple B&E. People saying hello to everybody. Oh, my brother was still there 22 minutes ago. Oh, let's see. Jerry was up at 3 a.m., was shocked about Harry and Wendy. Travers said it was hard to throw away pasta and rice when I started. Kept thinking, I'll use them when I get better and I learn more. I was the same way. I was always like, when I get to this weight goal, we can go do this. And when I get to this weight goal, we can go do this. Yeah. Yeah. Debbie says, Amy, it's just easier that Jerry eats the same as I do. Going to make keto Salisbury steak tomorrow for dinner. He's been wanting that. He's lost 15 pounds, so going good. That's fantastic. And Jerry says, I want to ask one more time to any and all of you want to join my friends YouTube creators group. It's free. Cindy, Lindy are in there with me too. Okie dokie. Everybody likes free, Jerry. Amy's in, Jerry. Fries Biscuit says, we had 2 generations of chicken since bird flu fiasco. Eggs still expensive. Welcome to artificial market. Yeah, I don't know really what's the deal with all that stuff. But the eggs prices have come down. Like they were up to like $24 for 5 dozen at Walmart. And the last time I was there, they were back down to like 14. So when before the pandemic started, they were 330, 339 or 330 for 5 dozen. I don't think we'll ever get back down to that price again. But maybe $5 for 5 dozen, $1 a dozen would be nice. I just don't know. Andy says, I trust you enough to help us out when we were on our cruise. I appreciate that. Debbie says, I'm going off track more than he has been lately. I've been back to better, but in the meantime, doing the best I'm able to do. That's really all you can ask for is do the best you're able to do. Okay, she's saying you got to have WhatsApp. WhatsApp. Risa says, I treat myself to zero sugar sodas, 2x a week. So I enjoy it. I also have a low sugar probiotic soda a couple times a week. That stuff's so expensive. Like $2.50 or more for a 12-ounce soda that doesn't even taste that good. No thanks. I'd rather just not have any. That's expensive for no reason. Amy says, yeah, that gluten-free dessert I had on vacation is going to give me terrible food noise. Plus, all the seafood was low fat. So I came home starving. Well, that's why like you do the whole thing where like um that's where like adding plenty of butter comes in. Adding lots and lots of butter. Butter, butter, butter. Tony's asking, when do you come into Dallas? I don't know. My sister lives in near Dallas. She lives in the Fort Worth area. I get down and see her. My niece graduated high school this year, but I couldn't afford to go down there. I got a friend that lives in Dallas. Yeah. I don't know when I'm gonna make it down to Dallas. I haven't been to Dallas in a couple of years now. But I do make it to Dallas from time to time. I need to make it down to Austin too. I need to go to Austin and go to the Comedy Mothership. Let's see. Risa says they make cafeteria look like a fast food restaurant. Yeah, that's how high school was. You get like chicken sandwiches, pizza. I mean, I would eat a chicken sandwich most of the time. A chicken sandwich and get like a Fago like fruit drink thing. Yeah. Evelyn says next time, Amy, make sure you get real butter and drink the bowl. And he says, telling my mother I wasn't eating her veggies at dinner was a huge step in taking my health into my own hands. My mom was kind of dominating person. I can imagine. I could see that. Amy says, ooh, I should have drank the lobster butter. Yes, you should have. Karen, see you all next week. Well, thank you for being here, Karen. Appreciate you so very much. Ash says, you're a great human, Dustin. Love you and your heart, my friend. Well, I love you too. Ash is such a great, wonderful person. Such a sweetheart. It's a true testament to how quickly we all became friends. It was like strangers to friends in like 2 minutes. It was pretty awesome. It doesn't happen when you're an adult that much. I mean, being an adult makes it's hard to make friends when you're an adult. Travers is saying that he hasn't eaten eggs for 30 years, and last year when I was fixing found how important they are and nutrient dense, perfect fat protein mix, yolk, raw, full of nutrients, cook white. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jerry says, casting your bread upon the water does come back to you. Okay. People saying oatmeal is oatmeal's always been healthy. Oatmeal is just one of those like ubiquitous health foods like oatmeal, oatmeal, oatmeal. Now, oatmeal in of itself is disgusting. Like that's where Rick would come in. Oatmeal's disgusting and Rick would be correct. Now, when oatmeal like how I liked oatmeal was the instant oatmeal, the cinnamon and brown sugar oatmeal mixed with hot tap water and it's soupy and I was in heaven. I don't know what I was thinking. I've almost had it recently, but I didn't. Yeah, oatmeal is just not a good thing. Boiled eggs for breakfast. You're going to love them in an instant. Everything in Europe is tiny. Europe is tiny. Jaheel, my buddy. Jaheel says, Dustin, you're out of control. I'm calling the police. Keto police. I've got a keto police badge here somewhere. I was gonna put that in there, but I decided against it. But I got a keto police and a carnivore police badge, just in case you guys are wondering. Very important, very VIP over here. Very important police. All right, Ash, you and Chris be safe. You guys have fun at church. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you guys later. And I want to tell you guys I have a link to this live. So when we end this live, you will be you will be reconnected or rerouted to Coach Bronson and Nats live. Their live starts at 10:45. So in about 15 minutes when we end this live, well, we'll probably end this live in about 8 minutes or 10 minutes or so, and then I'll give you guys enough time to go and hang out in their live. So they're going to be talking about a truth about their past, secret you never expected to hear, coffee talk with Coach Bronson and Coach Nat. So if they are on your radar and you like them or you want to check them out, you'll automatically be rerouted. I think if you're on your phone, it'll click you. You have to click a little like banner that comes up. But I put you guys all over there. I reached out to him yesterday because he had to and let me do it because they go live right around the time I end. And I want to be inclusive in this community and I want to make sure that we're all trying to connect and share the love. So that's one thing that yeah. Risa says, I think putting ketchup on eggs was a way she learned to like and eat eggs. Sometimes I don't put anything on them when I was little. I ate them scrambled, not over or up. Yeah. That's just messed up, though. That's just so messed up. So Evelyn says that my Japanese friend said if I lost my clothes, I could dress up like a sumo wrestler. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, so messed up. I mean, just finding like it's like at least in the United States, if you can like I buy my shirts at Walmart because they're like $6, and I don't really wear expensive clothes because even if I had lots and lots of money, I would still wear quality clothes. I think the shirts that I wear from Walmart are relatively, they're quality to a degree. Nothing fancy, but I like Dicky pants, and I like clothes that are going to be affordable but last a long time. But being out of the country and finding clothes that would be a nightmare. Oh, it'd be so scary. Yeah, Travers is right. Doctors are taught diet and health just aren't related. Yeah. I mean, they're given like a half a semester, if that. I kind of wonder, like, I mean, I think it's important for people to try things like that. And I've said since I started hearing about this sugar diet thing is I don't blame and I don't get upset with the people who want to try it, thinking it might solve something. I think it might show them just that they were already on the right path. I just get upset with the creators who are selling something that are selling it to people they know it's not right for. That's what bothers me the most. And Amy's asking Jerry how she gets into the group for the triple B&E. And Bridesman says, I'm sure big box stores can afford to be more competitive, but I have to rely on grocery store prices. By me, they have only come down only about 10 or 15%. Yeah. Yeah, Reese is talking about the probiotic sodas. I've tried a few, like the I don't even know if they're all probiotic. Like most of them, I think they're just touted as low sugar. I just don't think they taste good. Amy says you're easy to be friends with, Dustin. That's what I hear, but it's kind of like I don't under like. I guess I don't. Yeah, it's still difficult to make friends as an adult, but I'm glad that I'm able to make friends with all of you wonderful people. And Jerry says, now that you're back, Amy, I have your number. I will send you the link after the show. All right. Diana247, first time catching the live. She says, good morning. Enjoying while I get ready for a reunion. Lots of temptation, but I'll get through it. Well, fantastic. I appreciate you, Diana. Thank you so, so very much. Good luck with the reunion today. Hopefully, there is a lot of options that you can partake in, and hopefully, you go prepared. Being prepared is half the battle. Jerry said, Risa, it didn't really shock me. Wendy is not a leader personality, a follower. Oh, I don't know. I don't know them, so I don't know. Risa says, I used to love overnight oats. Haven't had it in years now. When you see Vincent's note or Victor's note meal yesterday, I'm thinking of trying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you can do it, then that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. Be strong today, Diana, and thank you for being here. And Travis is saying like oatmeal and cereals like the Seventh Day Adventist stuff from the 1800s. I mean, and also you got to remember it was cheap. A lot of the foods that we eat now kind of survived out of the Great Depression because they were cheap and we lived on them and survived on them. And, when all the things during the wars and the Great Depression and all that stuff, the real food wasn't available. And it you know, kind of became a staple and comfort food for us over the years. A lot of recipes evolved out of that. Travers says keto police are much nicer that traffic stops. Sean says, time for me to go. All hope everyone has a terrific day. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so very much. Danny says, wow, you're still here. Bible study is over. Break before church. Well, Danny, we're about ready to cut things loose, but we will be kicking things off, kicking it over to Bronson and Nat. For those who are interested in hearing what they have to talk about, go ahead and say that Dustin Keto Simple sent you over to them and that you are excited to see them if that is what the case is. But I hope you have a wonderful day, Danny, Sean, everybody. You guys are all amazing. Try to get to the end of these chats here, and then we'll kick things off because we're going about 3 hours and I'm almost out of coffee. Oh, my goodness. And Brian, have a wonderful day. I need to go out and get something done today after the rain. Well, fantastic. Well, thank you for being here, Brian. I truly appreciate you so very much being involved. Evelyn. Rise Biscuit says, peace out, fam. Great stream today, Dustin. You are in the zone. Well, thank you so very much. Just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. looks like I caught and basically got everything here. But as we embark on this renewed journey, let's remember that challenges and opportunities for growth. With determination, support, and a clear vision, we can achieve our goals. Stay strong, stay committed, and let's make this month a testament to our resilience. I appreciate each and every single one of you. A lovely 3 hours spent with all of you. I love each and every one of you. Thank you all so very much. Evelyn, even you and Cindy and everybody. Thank you all. Please feel free and please try and go and donate to the GoFundMe link that is pinned in the comments to help my friend Laura's brother Trent out in their time of need. Again, this will reroute you over to Coach Bronson. They don't start for about another 10 minutes. But go over there, tell them that Dustin KetoSimple sent you. Have a great day. I love you all. And we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.